Peace. Welcome to the show. This right here is Humble Beginnings, where we simply live it through. And I'm going to always say this at the end of that statement is that when we simply live it through, no matter what adversity or diversity we go through, all we can do is walk the path accordingly. That's all we can do. What's up, fellas? How y'all boys feeling?
I'm here.
Okay,
Feeling
okay.
pretty good, man. Enjoying the Sunday.
All right, man. Be you good? Let me throw Chef Joe back up there. Chef Joe, you good? You can hear?
Yeah, I can hear it now.
All right, yeah. I'm about to say, I saw the way you had look. You look like the audio wasn't right. What's going
Yep.
on with y'all fellas, man? How y'all?
Good, man. Enjoying this Sunday.
Okay. All right, y'all. We got a simple show tonight. I don't think this is gonna be too long. I think it's gonna be pretty straightforward, man. Because this concept is pretty good concept, man, and it's pretty dive into it. But first, man, before we jump into this topic, first thing I want to do, man, I want to give a shout out, man, to the brother, DJ Hamp, man, over at This Might Be Risky. He allowed me to come up Saturday, and no, that was Friday. That's Friday. Saturday. No, that was Friday. Friday, and I was able to join a panel, man, with a couple of them brothers, man, and have some really good conversations with them, man. I think it was a dope conversation around chivalry, moral codes, and standards, I believe. So, man, and it was a great conversation, man. I appreciate the brother let me come up on such a platform that large, where they get that many viewers or whatever may have you. Definitely was appreciated. I was actually pretty nervous, man, to be honest with you. I guess it was like going on stage and performing, man, because it's one of them shows that I watch a lot of, man, and I felt nervous, what I'm saying, being up there. But I mean, well, there was some good brothers, man. Good conversations, good topics, man. Everything was lovely, man. It was beautiful.
Hey, what's up?
Oh yeah. All right. So before we get into the subject, I'm gonna throw a pop-up question. Just one of the things I was hearing on another guy's podcast. They was having this conversation. His show was mainly this, but I wanted to address this question in general. Just a nice little pop-up question. And shouts out to brother Ricky, because Uncle Rick was on that show too. But this was one of the things he had on the show a few while back. So the question is simple: is sex an even exchange? And this is just to get us warm up before we get into this serious concept. Is sex an even exchange amongst men and women? I want to know what y'all boys think about this. Chef Joe, I'm gonna let you go first, man. What you think? Is sex an even exchange?
I don't think so, man. I mean, it's more like what can I ask this question every time I give it. I said, what can you do for me besides sex? Because I can get that shit. I can go buy that shit, and y'all already know. But like I got my own crib, cars. I know how to wash clothes. I know how to take care of myself. So what can you offer me besides that? I don't think it's an even exchange. I mean, do we want it? Yes. Do we? Some men desire it. Some men don't need it as often. But is it a fair exchange? No.
Okay. Uh, Big Dave, man. What you think, man? Is sex an even exchange?
Depends on the situation. Like, not all situations can be controlled by one party, versus the other. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to two people coming together on agreements, it takes two to tango. I mean, I see it personally in that situation as an even exchange because you got two parties involved, two parties interested. Yeah, so that's my outlook on that.
Okay. Matty B, what you think about that, man? Is sex an even exchange between men and women?
I would say in a relationship, most definitely, it's an even exchange. I know a
Mm.
lot of times females make it seem like it's not an even exchange, but if that was the case, they wouldn't be leaving dudes off of sex. You know what I'm saying? They make it seem like you getting it alone is doing you service, and they're the ones that just giving it out as a chore or something. But at the same time, they divorce dudes because of sex. They break up relationships because the sex isn't good. They complain about sex, but then when you get in an argument, they try to make it seem like you getting sick, so you should be, be grateful towards them that they giving it to you. But they looking to get pleased as well, because if they not getting pleased, they're not going to be satisfied, and you're going to have issues in that relationship. Now I would say in the context, there's other contexts that it might not be an even exchange. Say example like prostitution, then the exchange would actually be money because they're actually putting a price on it. But I would say as far as a relationship, it's definitely even exchange. So
So it's interesting. You said that in a relationship, it's an even exchange. Because most people that I've been hearing when they debate this topic, they said they push the concept that it's only an even exchange if we're talking about hoes. They say when it comes to relationship, it's definitely when it's not an even exchange because they talk about all the results and the things that come out of it and how typically men don't get anything like how Chef Joe went into it. Men typically, what do men actually get out of it outside of the nut? So it's a pretty interesting conversation because me personally, I'm on the side of it is an even exchange, but I'm on the concept like just because results happen after, right? So we'll say because we will say this, right? For an example, some people will say it's not an even exchange because say if you have sex with a woman and then she falls into her feelings and she now wants more. If you then cut it off with her, she won't look at that sex as being an even exchange because now her heart has been on the line.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Or say like a guy, if he had sex with a chick and he managed to mess around and got that girl pregnant, and he say he end up on child support or whatever may have you, he now may not look at this as an even exchange because he feel like he lost in the deal. Now, these are all just results that happen of sex, but a lot of people argue more the results that come from sex than actual sex itself. So a lot of people would say that's not an even exchange, or even in a relationship, if that guy gets with that girl and he's taking care of all the bills, he's taking care of all this other stuff like that. And if all the woman had to do was show up and she's reaping more the benefit of having that man or that husband, is it really an even exchange, even in a relationship? If you're the one who's taking care of everything, she reaping all the benefits, is it really an even exchange? So that's pretty. It was a pretty interesting conversation to hear have, and I wanted to ask a few of my people what they thought about that because I think that it is an even exchange, but I know the results might look like they're unfair, or they might not look like they work in the person's favor. I can see why somebody would say it's definitely not. But all right, fellas, now let's go ahead and get into what we came here for, man. We came here today. We talking about guilt. Title of this show is Guilty Conscious. First question I got up that I want us to dive into is, can one be guilty without morality? Can one carry this guilt of sort without morality in the play? Big Dave, I'm gonna start with you. What you think about this, man? Can one be guilty without morality?
I think that right there is a broad topic. Maybe like if you was to do something in the eyes of the government, it may be wrong, but the way you was raised and the lifestyle you was brought up in, it may be something completely normal. So you may not feel any kind of guilt when you do that, but on paper things might be different. That's kind of how I see that.
So what about it in the terms of morality, though? Like, can one typically feel this feeling of guilt if they're not a moral person, in your opinion?
I believe everybody got morals. Some people's morals may be darker than others. Um, Things that we may see being normal in society, we may see as a what's that word I'm looking for? Something completely off the norm, off the radar to somebody that lives a halfway normal life. So things we may see as being ultra wrong and against all morals we've ever been brought up in. Like I said, I think everybody's got morals of their own, but us being against things that other people do, it may, when it comes to them, it may not conflict with their morals whatsoever.
Okay. Chef Joe, what you think about this? Can one find themselves guilty of anything if they have no morals?
They have no morals. I mean, they have no feelings, so they don't give a fuck.
So your answer would be no. You don't think
Nope.
one can do this without?
No.
Okay. Matty B, what do you think about this, man? Could one have this feeling of guilt if they don't have morals?
I believe so. And the two things that come off the top of my head is some people, it won't be based off of moral, it can be based off results. Some people, when they don't get the results that they wanted in life, say that their kid turned out a certain way or their relationship failed, they don't necessarily have to tie it to morals, whether right or wrong, but they still can feel guilty because the results aren't what they want. They could still felt like they could have did more, even though they don't necessarily look at it as they done something right or wrong. They just didn't get the results. Some people don't get certain results and they feel guilty about it, and it's not tied to a moral compass. And then I also think some people holding accountability can make you feel guilty as well. Like people that want to lose weight or they want to do something, it might be not tied to right or wrong, but it's the accountability that they hold on themselves or on others if it don't go through, that they can still have a guiltiness for it as well. You know what I'm saying? Like if I said this year I had goals set that I wanted to gain a certain amount of muscle or get the job promotion or, change certain traits about myself, then I don't do it. I can feel guilty about it. And it's not tied to a moral thing. So that would be my aspect. You can feel guilty without morals. Now, I mean, if you're looking at it based on the right or wrong, I don't know if they would feel guilty based on the right or wrong, but they would definitely feel guilty based on like just their standard for themselves and, like how I said, just the results of certain situations.
Okay, cool. So what y'all think about Big Dave said something. He said do y'all believe what Big Dave said when he said that he believed that everybody have morals of some sort? Y'all believe everybody got morals?
Deep down.
I believe so. Even if their morals aren't tied to like right or wrong, their morals can be tied to just a standard they have for themselves. Like I say, even your principles are standards you have for yourself on how you feel you should conduct yourself, which is a right or wrong based on your own behavior. You may not have the morality of like society, but you still have a certain thing that guides you personally.
Yeah.
I believe everybody has some morals, so even if it's tied to just their personal beliefs.
But is it a moral though? Because some people can have standards, but they're not rooted in a right or wrong though.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what morality is. Morality would be the right or the wrong. That's literally what morality is. Some people can have standards and principles, but it's not actually rooted in a right or a wrong.
But I've seen some of them people that have standards of principle, that are standards of principle based, that when they bent their standards of principle, they said they would never do it again because that's where they went wrong in a situation. Now, so they still felt like they were wrong if they like bent their standards or bent their principles previously for a certain reason. They'd be like, I let emotion come into it and I should have stayed solid on my principle or stayed solid on my standard. That would mean that they felt they were wrong for doing it if they wish they didn't do it, wouldn't it?
Not necessarily, because some people would say that they felt they didn't like the result that came out of it. Just because it didn't go your way didn't mean that you felt that you was wrong just because it didn't go your way.
No, I agree with that. But if you're wishing you could have changed it, or you're saying I won't change it in the future based on you changing it previously, that means you felt something went wrong, in my opinion.
Well, you just felt it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. You know what I'm saying? Because is it wrong just because it don't go the way you want though? Like,
no,
the fact that something don't go the way you want, does that make it wrong?
No, not necessarily. But if you're tying it to an action you did, that means you felt like your action played a part in it going wrong.
But that's what I'm asking though. So just because it didn't go the way you want, would that have make it wrong though?
If you felt like your action played a role into it going wrong, yes.
No, but listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. Because you keep saying the word wrong. I'm saying if it didn't go your way, does that make it wrong though?
Oh, not just because it didn't go your way, that wouldn't make it wrong. No. But that's
what I'm saying. So even if a person feel like their actions might have did something and it didn't turn out their way, it wouldn't necessarily mean that if something was wrong though. That's why I kept asking it over and over again.
But what if your way was wrong from the get-go?
But if they regret the decision itself without even, let's not even talk about the results. If they regret the decision itself that they did, then I would say it would be considered wrong based on their conduct for themselves.
Okay. You say what if they was wrong from the get-go, but how would they have known? Like,
no,
who would have had
wrong from the get-go.
No. I'm talking about Big Dave. Big Dave had said that. He said, what if their choice was wrong from the get-go? Like, who would have known? Like, how would you have known that they was wrong from the get-go?
So if your intentions and your ways of thinking was for something to go wrong with a situation because you just wanted it to, because you kind of despise the other person secretly, then what if your way was wrong from the get go and it didn't go your way for a good reason?
I mean, I see how you can rationally, but I mean, at some point you would have to had somebody would have had to make the judgment call if it would have had to been right or wrong. So I get what you're saying, and the reason why I asked that too, because this was one of the reasons when I jumped on to the other show too. See, I don't believe everybody has a sense. I do believe people have values, and your values don't actually have to waver into a morality realm. Don't have to be a right or a wrong. Because even with me teaching my children, I could teach I could teach any concept that y'all could possibly bring up, and I could never have to touch the concept of a right or wrong. I never have to touch morality at all, because my principles are based upon my values, but they are not right or wrong. They're like because I say this all the time. I don't believe in right and wrong at all. I think things are what they are, and even if something goes away that don't be that, it doesn't make it wrong. It's just that it didn't go how you wanted it to go. So it's like that's why I kind of just disagree with y'all a little bit just on that concept, but that's just me.
But the one thing I would say, I don't believe morals are just tied to right or wrong either, because
but literally by definition it is though.
But it also
that's literally the definition of what a moral is, right and wrong.
But a moral, it also say, according to what definition you look at, a standard of behavior. So
yes, which is what people
standard of behavior that you have.
Determination of right and wrong.
I don't know. I see a standard behavior, or you know what I'm saying.
I know, but the standard is predicated of a right or wrong. That's my point. That's what the standard comes from. It comes from the societal setting of what is considered right and then what is considered wrong. So what's the term that we always use? It's a connotation to it though. You know what I'm saying? Like people use it in that fashion. Like, so they'll say if we just name an action, most people will say, okay, society based, this right here, that specific action that you said would have a consideration of right or wrong. Like, right? So we could say, if we say something like violence, what will most people look at violence? Right or wrong? If they would look at it as a right or a wrong thing.
Most people look at it as wrong.
Or wrong, but if you did it for the right reason.
That's my point though, right there though, Dave. That most people can look at it, they'll look at it, but ultimately most people are going to say this is wrong. Now, a lot of people will say, well, what if you were protecting your family from something? Then they'll say, oh, well, it was right in that situation. But overall, people are going to say that was a wrong. And that's the standard part. You know what I'm saying? Because even the standards are being chosen by some people now. Because most it might not be yours. It might just be like, because you can have your own core value and say, yo, I personally just don't want to take a man's life. Not because I think it's a right or wrong. I just think that that's a harsh step. Like to remove something that I cannot give back to somebody, I just wouldn't do that. Right? Not saying that it's a bad thing.
If your life in danger, it's either you or him.
Yes, but because if that's the person that you say that, but then you might end up in a situation where you have to take somebody's life, which still would be within the action itself if you still went against it, though.
What if you were a soldier and that was your job?
Then it would be just justified. You would let your job justify the killing. Like, say if you went overseas, you fought in a war, then you would just say, well, because this was my job, man. I got like 12 bodies, man. And you will get you ain't got to worry about no time because you did it in fighting for the country.
Wartime.
Killing.
If you got your own personal morality drilled in your head and you go over there and you do have to end up taking multiple lives, it's going to affect you and take change in your mind when you get back and drive you mentally insane when you get back over towards your family.
I agree. And that would have been a person now experiencing guilt because he actually went against what was within himself. He wasn't the type that want to take a life, and because he had to actually kill people in war, now he's suffering from PTSD. Which is a guilt, and that's gonna plague him.
Also, if you didn't do it, it'd be disobeying a direct order, which you would get court-martial and all that shit. So it's a no-win situation anyway.
And that goes back to what I was saying when I was talking to Matt about the standards. A lot of them standards is predicated upon the field. Like, it's because they say in the military, regardless of the job you go into, you're a soldier first, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, if you ain't got an intent or even plan on doing it, you still got to be a soldier first. So if you get that close to war, you still got to go with that gun and stuff first, even if you might just be a nurse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if you might just only work, you know what I'm saying? And like as far as the cafeteria side, even if that's just your job, you still got to be a soldier first.
Yep.
So you have to live to that standard. So you would be considered wrong if you don't be the soldier.
But even when you use the example about you can teach your kids a lot of concepts without bringing a right or wrong into place, it still would be based on what you feel is more effective in teaching them and what you feel like is less effective in teaching, which would be a standard that you have in teaching them, which I would still say is tied to right or wrong, that you, as far as which one is more effective or not effective. You mean I look at it as one is wrong.
So you're talking about right or wrong. You're talking about right or wrong as being as incorrect and then correct.
Yeah, in the personally thing, I'm not talking about like society right or wrong. I know a lot of people tie right and wrong based on society. I believe everybody has a personal, conception of like I said, incorrect and what's more effective and things of that nature.
Now, but see, when it comes to being correct and incorrect, I wouldn't tie correct and incorrect as morality though, because we can say this, right? Okay, like say if we take a job for instance, right? Like they say in order to be able to have this job, you got to go through these certain procedures to even get there. And the people who keep trying to go through and they don't go through the procedures, we can say that they are we can say, okay, he's doing it wrong. Wrong is in saying he's just incorrect with the way he's going about it, because to actually get it, he would have to go through this. But that's not predicated. It's not the good and bad wrong. It's correct and incorrect, but not good and bad. Most people judge things from their morale. It's good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be your differences in right and wrong on that concept. You have a correct and incorrect, and then you have a good and bad, a positive and negative. So I would agree that your values and your standards can come from a correct or incorrect, which doesn't necessarily have to be registered as a good or a bad. Because I don't believe in the good and bad part of it.
I kind of agree with you. We breaking out that, because that's what I'm thinking of as well too. The incorrect and not correct. I believe a person can go throughout society without thinking something is, because good and bad also has an emotion attached to it too. So I believe that is possible. You can go through society without thinking there's a good and bad, but you definitely know there's an incorrect or correct way of doing something.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, so I would agree if you say right and wrong in that aspect, but incorrect and correct is not. That's not morality though. Because it's not a good, because morality is going to point you at like it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my thing on it too. But to answer the immediate question though, I don't think you can be guilty if you just don't have morality, because I think that's what typically. Well, no, I take that back. No, yes, you can, because it's like how you said, Matt. You could find guilt within more so of the outcome, and it could be that on that person. It don't actually have to be, that. So now I take that back. Yeah, I can see a person being guilty without having morale, like feeling that sense of guilt. I could definitely see that. Oh shit! I thought I saw something change over there. All right, let's dig a little deeper and talk about some people real quick. Do y'all think people hide their real selves from people out of a guilt that they didn't present themselves? Of course, like they didn't present themselves of their truth, but they didn't present their true selves, so they're guilty in now like hiding themselves because they think that those people won't accept them. Do y'all think people share that? Like they hide themselves out of that guilt of not being able to be who they are?
I believe so, because I believe most people have. I believe all of us have certain things about ourselves that we may feel is right or wrong, but we know society wouldn't be accepted of our thoughts or our behaviors towards it. Even if it's just an opinion about something, it don't necessarily have to be tied to an action. If you're holding your opinions about something, you're not necessarily being yourself as well too, because you're going to sway the conversation, as far as what's politically correct as well. For survival, I'm saying in certain instances, especially when you're younger. Now, when you get older, you may be mature enough to know. Now you're just dealing with certain people that kind of move the way you move. You kind of know how to maneuver in certain crowds and everything, where you can kind of taper it. But for the most part, I think so. Especially when you're dealing with people that you don't know, you don't have no history with it, because a lot of times we build our friendship, we build our family and everything. At a certain point, we kind of break away from certain family members that we are close to others. We kind of build it based around what we think is conducive to our lifestyles that we want to live. When you're meeting a random person, you go on a job interview, you go on a job, you meet a new female, a female meet a new dude. You're going to play the role of, I'm gonna be cautious as well. Certain people, because I don't know how is this gonna be took, especially if you're looking to get a result out of it. Like you're going for an interview or something like that. If you're looking to get a result out of it, you're going to play cool, even if you're holding something back. That could be looked at as that as well too.
Okay. Big Day, what you think about this, man? Do people hide their real selves out of guilt, man? From the world, they hide themselves from the world out of guilt.
Well, I can see where things people feel guilty of may drive them into a state of depression. You've got a lot of people that walk around out there every day and smiling at like everything's okay with everybody, but deep down inside, they may be guilty of how they spent time with certain family members and they already passed away, and things they wish they could have said, ends they wish they could have tied. I could see that as kind of a form of hiding their real self and what they may deal with versus how they deal with the public and relationships with people outside and in the world.
Okay. Chef Joe, man, what you think about that, man? You think people hiding their real selves from the world, man, out of guilt?
Yeah, because they're afraid of being judged and what like man said, what society say about them. But if you're just real to yourself, you shouldn't give a fuck what nobody say. But this is the world we live in, so people go hide their true self because they don't want to be judged or be considered outcasts.
So in the realm of communications, like just us being able to communicate, even if it comes to like relationships and all this other stuff like that, you think that representative is like they hide from it because they might not be that person they think that they even think that they should be to be with that person, right? Like, so like for instance, right? Say a man want to be with a woman. You think he might not reveal his true self as far as like vulnerability because he's afraid of the way that woman's going to look at him. So he kind of has like a personal guilt of not showing his true self because he don't want that woman to view him a certain way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do y'all think a lot of these instances play a part in communication where people just don't even speak up? And this go around friends or coupleships or however it may have you. Like, do y'all think that keeps people from just speaking up?
Yeah, because why would you if you known somebody for so long, why would you hide your true self? You should be comfortable around the person you with. You should reveal yourself. Like it should be like you should reveal yourself. It shouldn't be you hiding it. If that's the case, why I'm friends with you, why I'm friends with you, or why I'm in a relationship with you if I can't be myself?
Is it safe to say that's an easier said than done situation?
It's easier said than done.
What you about to say, Metaby?
I would say to piggyback on what Chef Joe said, especially if it's a person that is very social, like they want to be a social butterfly, they definitely go want to, fit in. But I would say also, a lot of people don't necessarily do it because they feel guilty. A lot of people just do it because they just think they won't get the results. It's not necessarily I'm gonna feel guilty about how you feel about me. It's just maybe you may get offended and you may can't handle it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ashamed of how you may think about me. I just think that you may can't handle what I'm giving you. You know what I'm saying? And that person, it scares them off. Because it's sometimes when, like, I never do it now. When I was younger, when I meet a female, I kind of taper down certain things I would say. Not because I'm not going to ever get to it, because I feel like it would be inappropriate because she barely know me. So if I check that as strong as I normally would check it, it may come all kind of aggressive to her because she barely know me 2 days. Because, she's a stranger dealing with somebody, we trying to know each other. She may do something stupid in a regular situation. I may be like, what the hell? Or look at it a certain way, but because she's kind of new, I know we're trying to get to know each other. She's out here alone with me. I might kind of like dim it down a little bit to make her feel more comfortable and just say it in a more nicer way, or not say it, let it slide. But you know what? It just might have been a mistake. But it don't mean I'm necessarily ashamed that she may look at me a certain way, just that I may be catering to the newness of the situation.
I get the piggyback off I get what you're saying, but I understand, but I like to be straightforward. So if you can fuck me or you don't, like I tell you everything up front, so you can make your decision. I ain't gonna waste your time, and you ain't gonna waste mine.
I agree with that. Now, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I can see. I mean, I can see a lot of that. I could definitely see a lot of that. Damn, it was a question I was gonna ask. Something Matt had said I was gonna ask a question to.
You got to catch on the playback, big dog.
Oh man. And it's funny too, well, because really what Matt said though, kind of going to the next question, because the next question I have would have been about can people be protected by guilt? So he kind of went into that, but it was something else he said. It gonna come back to me though. So I'm gonna deal with this one right here though, because Matt kind of touched it. Is there a way that can people be protected out of guilt? Because Matt kind of highlighted that about kind of protecting somebody from that. What do you think about that, Chef Joe?
Can people be protected out of guilt?
Mm-hmm. Like your guilt of a situation, could it be used in protection to somebody else?
Oh. Would it depends on the circumstances of what event occurred?
You tell me.
If that answer, yeah, it depends on the situation that occurred. Like if I did something bad and out of guilt, but for the greater good, it depends.
I mean, it would be. So I guess let me see. What would be a good example of this?
Like I give you an example. My mom older, right? So she a worrisome person, right? So it's times I lived in my car that I told her I got a hotel room and I'm chilling up just because I feel like the worry that it'll cause to her is more detrimental. So I just tell than the actual truth, which is I'm living in my car in the Walmart parking lot. So I may actually just tell her, I'm in a nice hotel room, laid down, watching TV or whatever, because it makes her more comfortable. So I mean, I'm lying to her out of guilt, but at the same time, it's beneficial for her to hear it.
Protecting her feelings in the same essence.
Yeah, because she's an older woman. I don't want her worried about me all night long and getting sick.
I can see that.
Now, if he was somebody and he had a morality around lying, he would then be going against his morale lying, but his intentions would be right, but he would be going against kind of his morality if he had a moral placement about not lying, because whether it's white or dark, a lie would be a lie.
Copy. I got you.
What do you think about that, Big Dave? Somebody protecting somebody out of this guilt, man. Can you see this happening?
Yeah, I can see it. If you're feeling really guilty about something, but you don't want to like rub off on the other person or make them feel guilt also over a situation that you may have done that they don't know about. Yeah, I can see that, like protecting each other's feelings and all that good stuff.
All right, so let's run some of these concepts, man. Let's talk about the hardship, man, that come into it. What are some of the guilts, man, that come from loyalty, like being so much for the family? You know what I'm saying? That it hinders you. Like how can people? What's the guilt that can come from that? Like, because a lot of times people can take this like they got such a plague with them when it comes to loyalty, right? That they end up going against their own best interests just because they want to hold down their family or they want to be, misleading this right here. And then you will have people who will look at them and then start to judge them and be like, hey, you should do this. You should do this for the family because you got successful now. You should help everybody out. And then they start feeling guilty like, dang, man. Yeah, man, all my people I was around coming up, now I got a little money, man. I think I need to buy this house for my mom. I think I need to do this for my sister. I think I need
to fuck that, nigga. You ain't put that work in.
It happens. That's guilt. A lot of people get guilty.
I understand that in the scenario, like I understand that, but you wasn't working with me in the gym, whatever I was doing to become successful. You wasn't supporting my dreams. You was out here, goddamn late nights, early mornings, goddamn headaches, lack of sleep. You wasn't out there. Why should I feel guilty because I made it to the top? Will I help some people out? Of course. Will I help everybody out? No. That's just in Atlanta. Like in Atlanta, the homeless people be coming up. I be wanting to help them all, but in my mind, if I help everybody, hell, I'm be in that same fucking situation. Ain't nobody really gonna help me.
Okay. Big Dave, man. All right, go ahead, Matt.
Right. I agree with everything Chef Joe said. My question I was gonna ask is it loyalty if you don't feel obligated to do it, but you do it because it still gotta be done? You know what I'm saying? Like, say example, my mom is trying to get to the hospital, right? And no one there can take her, but she's really sick. I don't feel like I'm doing out of loyalty, but if it got to be done, somebody got to get her there, or or it's gonna be trouble, and I go ahead and get it there because no one else is doing it. I don't think that's really like you're
That's
doing it out of loyalty.
responsibilities.
It's just you're doing it because it still got to be done. You know, so I think loyalty is kind of tied to now. I feel obligated to do it because of who this is, more so than I just want to do it because it got to be done, right?
Yeah, I don't disagree with it when you're talking on the realm of loyalty, but I'm talking about them situations where people are guilted into having to look after others.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking more from the realm of being guilty. Like, that's why I use the example of people coming up and getting money. That people always try to guilt them in looking after their people. Like, man, you should be looking out for your cousin. You should be looking out for this man because we family. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about that aspect of it. Like how the downfalls of that.
Shit, some family hinder you more than help you. What the hell?
Big Dave, man, what you think? What you think about this, man? Come on, Dave. You done hit this lottery, man. You done hit this lottery. You got a few million. Now, all the cousins you ain't talked to since grade school coming back. Like, come on, Dave, man. I know you gonna get me one of. I know you gonna get me one of them spiders too, man. Like, come on, man. We family. We should rock the same. Come on, man. What you talk? Come on, Dave. Talk to me, man.
So first and foremost, if we ain't been rocking since grade school, we ain't gonna rock. You gonna stay in grade school. But I feel loyalty should go at least to your family, like your close family, that show the same energy back towards you. Friends the same way, but number one, like your kids always. So if anybody was to come up to me about money or whatnot, I don't look at it as a loyalty aspect, of feeling guilty. If you wanna give blessings, go ahead and give blessings, but don't ever feel where you got guilt going on and make that cause to be the reason for your action and that nice little deed. Like that should play as, hey, I feel blessed, I'm gonna bless you. Enjoy.
So since loyalty, the word loyalty has came up a couple times. Can y'all see people being loyalty by guilt? Like they only carry a level of loyalty because they feel guilty to be there?
Almost definitely. I believe that happens a lot of times. You hear that with gang members where they mature to the point where they pass gang members, but they fail because they guilt trip that, hey, you said this is for life. Now you're actually a dishonorable person if you don't stay loyal to the game. You see that a lot of times where they be like, well, I got to be down forever. I signed up for this. And that might not even be them no more, but they actually feel like they're dishonoring themselves by not staying loyal to it. So I think that's happened with family members and everything. It's just like on the movie Jason Leary. When Jason was staying loyal to his brother, he been wanting to break away, but he felt like if he broke away, he would be doing a disservice to his brother and his dad, you know what I'm saying, based on the previous situations. I think that happens in real life all the time when you're loyal to somebody based out of guilt. And you know what I'm saying? So
kind of like, even if like it's because that was like the concept of saying, like, walking that road of like the my brother's keeper. Like sometimes that whole my brother's keeper situation kind of ain't beneficial for you.
Nope.
Especially like if you got like that brother who was like, wow, and he's clearly going down the wrong path, and he's just doing crazy shit, and it's like you can't reel him in. But because that's your brother, you feel like turning your back. You would feel guilty if you had to turn your back, even though he walking down this path, and we know where it can lead, right? Say if you would have to say, well, you turn your back on him a little bit, like yo, I'm not gonna be doing this, and then he mess around and get killed. Yeah, a lot of people feel guilt from that. Like, damn, man, now my brother got killed, man, because I turned my back on him. Even though we could say he probably was going to end up there anyway.
That's the fact. And the same thing. If you remember that we was watching, we was talking about King Talk earlier, where old boy was debating back and forth with who was that we was talking about earlier?
We were talking about the cat.
Kenny and old boy.
Yeah, Bruiser.
A lot of times that situation happens as well too, where a person see themselves in the person that they're being loyal to. Now, Kenny kept saying, well, I was that person at one point they definitely feel like they had to really die by that person because they felt like they was that person at one point and somebody was loyal to them until they got out of it. A lot of times they're overstating and end up getting themselves killed or whatever because they felt like if somebody would have gave up on me, I wouldn't have been here today. You know, you see that a lot of times in those situations as well.
Yeah, or like the ones who typically want to stay there to help the community. Like some people do it from a genuine place, like they really just care that much and want to see people prosper. But then some people they're guilty. They do it out of guilt because you know people like how people always say, "Well, this city made me, and I would have never have been this person if it wasn't for this particular city." You know what I'm saying? So then now they feel like they gotta constantly give back. They gotta stand themselves, and they're not even doing it for themselves. They're doing it just because they feel like they're obligated. They have to do it. Could any of y'all brothers see yourself in that position? Whether it came to just the community or family or anything like that? Being guilted into having to take care of the loved ones or the people you pretty much
Nope.
came up with? Damn.
I don't
Lord.
now. I have before though. I done it before.
I had before too, but now I'm like Matt say, or Matt and Big Dave, like my closest friends and family, the ones who rock with me, the one who I come home to visit when I come to South Carolina, who I go visit the most. Shit.
What about you, Big Dave? Could you see yourself walking this path, man? Having to take care of, them loved ones, them people that you grew up with?
So, loved ones is a big category for me. My loved ones is ones that's pretty much made it where if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have had a meal a certain day. This is the type of people I would look out for versus the people that say, hey, when you see them and all that, that anytime you call them and you need something, you get a voicemail. And anytime you got it, they know you got it. You getting hit up every Friday. Hey, man, I need to borrow this. Nah, you can't do that. You got to look at the ones that's had a really big impact on your life. That's where loyalty should lie. You should never feel guilt about any of those people, regardless of the situation.
Have any of y'all ever seen people like who look like they could have like a promising future and they didn't take an opportunity because they didn't want to leave maybe a brother behind or a sister behind or even your mom or your dad, like a parent or something like that? Have y'all ever seen like guilt being used in a manner where it actually keeps you from moving forward in your own personal life because
Oh,
your
most
parents?
definitely. As a matter of fact, before you started this podcast, I don't know if you remember, that was one of the conversations me and you used to regularly have. Because I used to always say, I believe that a lot of black men aren't successful is because the situation we come up in, a lot of us are held back trying to take care of the family members more so than certain other communities. Because I knew I was one of those in one of those positions. You know what I'm saying? I ended up leaving, but I knew I met a lot of people that was in that position. And I also didn't realize how bad that was until Kevin Samuels was talking to guys. You see how many guys had opportunity and chance to elevate their career, but their brother was on drugs, or their brother was in the prison system, or their mother was going through this. And they actually stayed back to try to make something work more at home more than breaking away. I think when you come up in the environment we come up in, most of the people that become successful, they get out in that environment. But because we have so many close people that are family members that are in that struggle, we typically, as black men, get held back trying to put everybody up instead of just actually saving yourself, then helping people. So I think a lot of people, not just black people, but a lot of people in general are held back by family members, friends, things that people that grow up around them are going through, especially when you're in a impoverished area. You know, most of your friends are probably going to be going through something.
Mm-hmm. Big Day, what you think about that, man? Have you seen that, man? People not, moving forward or taking on, maybe they got a good career path or opportunity out there, but they don't take it, man, because they feel they got to stay back for somebody else.
I've ran into that situation as far as the workplace goes several times. I've had several opportunities come my way, and I've turned them down or procrastinated about them because I felt loyal to a company. And at the end of the day, when it comes to the workplace, my advice to everybody out there, never let loyalty to any kind of company or the feelings that you may have working there prevent you from achieving and moving forward with your life. Because at the end of the day, especially plant jobs, you get toward December, they try to cut costs at the end of the year and all that. And that leads back to what I said. At the end of the day, you're just a number. So, especially workplace, like me, as far as my experience, no loyalty in the workplace. You got to move forward. You got to do better for yourself.
I've seen it happen a lot of times when it comes to relationships as well too. Say example, the guy got an opportunity or he can advance, but his girl may be a small town girl, which she don't want to go to. She don't want to move away from her family, away from her situation. So it may be an opportunity for the guy to advance and better their situation. But he like, my girl, man, she a something South Carolina girl. She don't want to go to LA. She don't want to go to Dallas. She don't want to go to Chicago. You know, like, I can't take that position. I can't move out there to make that happen. And then you see them years later end up regretting it because they may not even work out. You know, where he like, man, my life could have been so much different if I took the opportunity.
Okay. Chef Joe, you seen this, man? Have you seen this happen before, man? People not take an opportunity, or have you done it? Have you to not taking an opportunity because you feel you got to stay close, man, to help look after, or you just don't want to leave them behind?
Well, as far as like my personal life, nah, nigga, I left, nigga. I don't give a fuck. As far as like what Big Dave say, for these companies, yeah, I have been loyal to different companies and missed the opportunity. I was scared to leave or I don't know. But now, nah, I'm going with better money. Even not better money, but better schedule. Better, my better schedule, put it like that, because I like to travel. So if it come give me like you could take any days off you want, just let us know. Oh, I'm in that motherfucker shit. But for
So-
personal life, nah, I never been through that. But also, I don't think it's sometimes it's guilt, but sometimes it's fear. Like I got cousins that never left. Well, the farthest they've been was down south to Florida and up north to Charlotte, North Carolina. But they love the country life. They won't leave to save their fucking life. Shit.
So could y'all see yourself doing that though, in terms of relationship? Like, say if you were talking to a female, and let's say you actually you got a real good job here. You got a real good job where you at. You doing good and all this other stuff like that, and then she get an opportunity, and she's like, "Well, sweetheart, I got a job in California. Are you comfortable with leaving your life behind to follow that one?"
I answered this one first, if you don't mind. With my jobs and set skills, California probably be hard as hell to get an arm license to do like bodyguard security. But yeah, I'm down for it. I ain't got nothing to hold me back in Georgia. Fuck it.
Okay. Big Dave, what you think about that, man? If the old lady got an opportunity, man, let's say you already established it, you still got a nice good job, boom boom, got good money coming in, and she said, "Hey, baby, I got this opportunity. We need to move to California right now. Are you willing to let go of everything you got to go to California?"
Well, if it's unexpected and her opportunities outweigh every opportunity that you got in your path at this particular time, go for it. Your life might change for the better. You never know.
I said, would you do it?
But I do it.
Yeah,
Hey,
would you do it?
If my old lady got an opportunity across the country to provide for our family and foot the bill till I get on my feet where I gotta start over and all that compared to what I'm comfortable with now, yeah, I'll go for it. But if there's anything less, nah, I had to keep doing what I'm doing till I see opportunity in my path.
I like that. I like that.
Okay. Matty B, what you think about that, man? Could you do that? Could you have that woman? I mean, you got everything together, man. The company done got the way you needed to be. Things is going good for you, and all of a sudden she said, "Baby, I got this opportunity. I got to go." Could you up and leave?
I could, but it had to be if I'm moving that far with a woman. Obviously, I'm assuming we married or that's somebody that I'm looking to marry. Now, I wouldn't do that with a girlfriend, but I was assuming it's on that level. Then, yeah, but any situation we're together, I believe any situation like that, it should be weighed upon is it beneficial for both of us. So it definitely had to be beneficial for both of us because I wouldn't even make a decision like that if I'm actually married to a person. It would have to be beneficial for the two people. And I also believe as a man, I don't feel comfortable with my livelihood being placed in the woman's hand. So I would definitely have to be a
I knew
situation.
that was coming. I knew that was
Yeah,
coming.
I would definitely have to be in a
I was
situation.
expecting one of y'all to say that though.
I knew
I'm
that was
expecting one of
coming.
y'all to say that. So
Yeah,
I was like, man, okay, y'all.
I don't like not being in control. You know what I'm saying? With anybody in general, I don't really like that not being in control. So it couldn't just be totally on her. Now, if she says she can go and I can live in California, and based on what I do, it definitely would be opportunities there, and I can set something else up out there. Yeah, but I'm not just totally relying on her either. I mean, if she got to go down there 3-4 months before I get down there, and I can come out there and be already ready to take off. Yeah.
That's why I said I kind of was expecting one of y'all to have say that though, because a lot of guys would be like, no, they go like, hell no, I'm not going to fresh start not following her. Like a lot of guys ain't comfortable with that concept. Like, they were like,
I think it's different if if the woman following the man and the man following the woman.
That's why I said that. See, that's why I was asking that, because I know guys got a different way of looking. Like I know sometimes people pose that question to women, and then some people have it like a standard, an expectancy that woman should have faith in her man to want to do it. But that's why I asked on the other side, like as men, do you got enough faith to actually do that on the other hand? Mm-hmm. Me personally, the pros would have to definitely weigh. Like it would have to weigh. Like it would have to be like I would have to be able to look at that setup, and I'm talking about like all the way around. And I don't know though. No, I gotta say I don't know though, because that's a far leap. And then I got children.
I'm saying too. That's a far leap. They ain't like no.
But I also got children too, so I also would be making a greater sacrifice to distance myself from my kids too.
Yeah, so I see. I know your point of view. Like me, I'm single with no kids, so my point of view, I can go out there and find some hustle and find work. So I know your point of view.
That part too, but it's like, dang, yo, it's like Not, you to uproot with you.
I know some people that get in those situations where they got kids and the situation is so great that they're able to fly regularly. But I don't know if you're the type of person that like flying regularly. Like some people have those situations where they literally can have their kids fly twice a month. Their kid flying in and they're flying out there 2 weeks because they making so much buku money that they actually account that into the expense of being out there. And it makes sense, but I know everybody ain't that person that want to be always at the airport twice a month.
But see, the scary part about that though, like it's different if I got the opportunity and I know the money that I'm making that move to be able to do. If I'm moving with her, I have to find something, so I don't know how this is going to play out. So that's a very scary concept for because it's different now. If a job called me. And it's like, okay, so I know what I got. I know what I'm working with. I know what I'm managing. But shit, if I follow her, I don't know what the hell gonna happen. I don't know how we gonna do this commute, this back and forth, or who gonna be able to fly, whatever may have you. That's a pretty risky situation. It's pretty risky. Hey, y'all. I got the next one up here. Let's go. Boom. Why do people guilt people for being selfish? Like, why do people try to guilt you? Like, man, that fucked up, man. You wouldn't do this right here, man. That's fucked. Like, why do people guilt people for being selfish? Chef Joe, man, what you think, man? You thought it since I know you had liked
that. I think people guilt people for being selfish because I think they're jealous. It's another topic. It's jealousy. Like, why would you guilt me for doing what I want to do or not want to do? Why are you speaking down like prime example, me like not having kids? People always people actually call me selfish for not having kids. I was like, so it's selfish for me not to have kids. I think the selfish part of me having kids, knowing I don't want kids and resenting the kids because I got them. Mm-hmm. So why the fuck would you call me selfish because I don't want kids? Y'all is stupid. Y'all living that damn old time where you gotta get married, you gotta have a kid, you got to do this before a certain age, blah blah blah. No, it's a new time. But like, you never know when your big break will come. Hell, you might be 50 years old when big break comes. Shit, you never know.
So you don't believe in them little I guess them ways of guilting people when they start telling you that, hey man, as a man, you're supposed to be leading a family and you're supposed to be here. Your job is to procreate, man, and raise a family. And you don't believe in having to have that representation.
Hey, look,
A
I
lot
know
of
you.
people who push that concept. Like a lot of people push that.
I know. Some people believe in that. I don't know if you believe in that, but I'm a different breed, my brother. I'm sorry. No, I came into this world by myself. I'm down by myself. Shit. Being the leader, okay, cool. You can be. I wouldn't say you can be a leader without being a family. I mean, you can lead some people without having family, but nah, I don't. Man, that's just me.
So what would be the words you say to somebody if somebody had heard you say that and they was like, dang, Chef Joe, you man, morally, man, you a piece of shit, man. Everything you said was just selfish. Like, dang, you don't care about nobody else. You ain't wanna do nothing. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, what would you say to them if they had just said that?
Shit, they judge Jesus. You can judge me all you want. I'm living my life. Shit. Shit, why y'all judging me? Why y'all judging me? Y'all stuck in the living hell. I'm out there living my life and traveling, doing what I'm doing. Okay, judge me all you want. You want the lifestyle I got. You just taking it out on me.
Okay. What now? Just picking at the example. What if somebody came at you and they say, "Dang man, I used to take you as a good church brother, man, and you should really be the type, man. You should be the one to lead a family, man. Like for you not to want to." Take a wife and some kids, man. It was like I think you ain't doing right, man. You need to come on to the other side, man. What would you say to them?
I'm telling motherfucker I ain't been to church in years. How you gonna goddamn judge me, nigga? Okay. I'll tell them like honestly, like everybody had their different opinions. You have your opinion on me. It's all good. But I know it's being selfish is doing stuff that I know I don't want to do. You forcing me to do it. That's not right.
What did they try to tell you, man? You ain't gonna never be happy, man, until you find this wife, man.
I'll tell them shit. Look at my Instagram. Look at the pictures and videos in my phone.
Okay.
I'll be all right.
Big Dave, man. Come on, what you think about this, man? Why do people try to guilt you for being selfish, man? Why people do this, man?
So certain situations I've been through is like certain family members, they didn't make it as far in their life as I did at such an early age. So they be coming at you all needy and stuff like, man, I did this for you way back then, and it'd be like one thing you remember about your childhood, but they'll always bring it up, say, hey man, you owe me this, I need this, you got it now, let me get this. Like, nah.
But I don't think that's selfish though. If you just don't rock with them and you just feel like they ain't never did nothing for you, I don't think that would be considered selfish. They look at it like that.
Well, they would pretty much be trying to call you selfish because they did that one thing for you your whole life, and they feel like you owe them the world. Yeah, so they would sit there and try to manipulate you into thinking that you're selfish and try to give you a guilt trip over one little thing, and have both of their hands out at the same time.
There you go.
Because it usually plays into them cards of like the loyalty. Like that person can do a solid for you, and then like now they keep bringing it up. Like, dang man, but remember I did this though, and it's like looking at it's like, dog, it's like your whole life indebted to them all because of one deed they did.
One deed. Like I don't pay the favor back about 10 times. You still use that one deed, man? Nah.
It could be something simple. It could be something simple too. Like they got you a job one time, and they could just be holding that over your head. Be like, damn, remember that time you was doing bad, man? I got you that job. They're like, damn, you can't do this favor for me, man. You can't do this for me. And it's like the 30th favor now that they done asked you for. It's like, dude, at what point has that deed been paid off? Like, damn, but they use it as something to keep continuously guilting you into doing what they want. Man, B, what you think about this, man? Why do people try to guilt you, man? Just guilt you for being selfish, man?
All right, the way I interpret, not saying that I agree with both of you brothers, but the way I interpret the question as somebody that's actually selfish. You know what I'm saying? Why do people guilt people for being selfish? So I'm assuming that the person is actually selfish as far as I interpret the question. So I would say that a lot of time it goes into that right and wrong as well, too. What we were speaking of earlier, like if the person believes in right and wrong, that they feel like if you're taken from the world, you're taken from them personally, that there should be equivalent given back. If it's not equivalent given back, they try to guilt you with the right or the wrong. Also as well, too, I believe that a lot of times a person that's selfish, they don't say that they're selfish either. You know, a lot of times it's a lot of people that are actually selfish that don't necessarily lead with the arrogance of, like how we said, they based on the previous question we were talking about as well, people don't say certain things up front because they believe they'll be looked at by society a certain way. So a lot of times when a person is trying to guilt them, a lot of times it's also just because you don't know that that person actually know that they are being selfish. And most people don't leave that. You like, hey, so with a lot of people, the person trying to guilt trip them, they also trying to let them know, do you know this is what you're doing? Because it's like I've done it before, not necessarily trying to guilt the person, but letting the person know, hey, this is lopsided now. Like if I'm dating a female and everything is based on me paying for her, me taking her somewhere, me doing something for her. I don't look at it as me trying to make her feel guilty, but I'm just letting her know, hey, you do know this is selfish because I'm not getting nothing back in return. It ain't that I'm trying to guilt you. I'm making you aware that this is what this is. Some people may not be aware; they just may be moving. But I think a lot of times you try to guilt the person. They may be trying to make them aware, and then there's also people who try to guilt them just to try to get what they want. They don't care if you're aware or not. It's like, I just want to get what I need, like how you getting what you need. So I'm going to try to guilt you into doing it more so than just saying I don't like it.
Because when it comes to the realms of like giving, a lot of people will try to say they'll try to guilt you into like not wanting to give. Like how you said, like sometimes homeless people or like even when people like trying to do like fundraisers and little stuff like that, they'll come around and be like, hey man, you think you can spare a little this or do this right here? And then when you be like, nah, I'm good, I don't want no chocolate. I'm good, I don't want no donuts, I'm good. And they'll be like, dang man, you can't help out the little boys and girls
kids
club,
and all
like
that,
you can't help the kids out, like they do that to you too. Like dang, so when you gonna be that selfish, you can't spare $1, $5, man. Get a box of donuts, for $10, like they. So some people do it in them small realms too. There's a lot of people like.
Hey, Chef Joe be like, fuck them kids.
And then a lot of people don't want to put the work you put in as well, because we all know, I'm sure you know, Chef Joe, that when you got family members, especially like how you said you got Instagram and everything, the more and more stuff you post, the more and more calls start coming randomly, or people you start hearing stuff about people think now they should be included in certain stuff. Like, man, you did this, you did that, man. We need help with this. It's like they just feel like they should be included, but they don't want to put the work. You the same way you work to get what you get, they can do it as well.
Yes, sir.
But they want to take the shortcut way now because somebody close to them got it.
Mm-hmm.
Or like that play, or like the placement of like the way you help a person, right? Like somebody could ask for like a favor, they could ask for, like, matter of fact, they could be like they asking for help. It could be like, and it could be something like maybe they ask for some money, maybe not be like, dang man, I need $1,000 to do such and such, and you be like, well, I ain't gonna give them the whole 1,000, but then you give them $100, and then they look at you like, dang man, you ain't gonna fucking help me. This what the fuck I'm gonna do with this? But it's crazy because it's like, well, technically, if I gave you $100, I did help you. Like now, you only need $900. You don't need 1,000 no more. Like I helped you get closer to your goal. But some people will look at that and be like, no, you ain't did shit, because they expected you to help the entire thing. Because you get a lot of that too. How many times y'all have seen that? Like people don't believe in partial help. They be like, no, if you can't help all the way, then you ain't help.
Plenty of times.
And they'll try to make you feel guilty for that. They go like, dang man, that ain't what I asked.
And they get mad when you ask for it back. Like it was like, man, I ain't. But So when I had it, when I got it, you good. But when I need it back, if I got emergency come up, like, I ain't got it right now. Give me a little more time. A little more time, nigga. You ain't give me a little more time when you asked me for it. Nigga, I need my funds back.
Or they could be like, dang. They be like, so Chef Joe, really, man? You gonna nag me, man, for $100? All I done did for you coming up. All we done been through, you gonna make a big deal about $100 coming up? Like, come on, man. Look what all we done been through, man. All the time I done look out for you. All the time I done share with you. You gonna make a big deal about $100? Like, come on.
Hey, you know that's crazy. Like, I never had that shit happen, but I'm one of them motherfuckers. I never ask for shit. Like, motherfuckers always ask me for shit. I like my pride. Like, I guess my dad had to break me out of that shit. My pride for it so goddamn bad. Like, I don't ask nobody for shit.
Do you ever need anything though?
Huh?
Do you ever need anything?
Honestly, no.
That's because you're selfish.
Yeah, I'm about to say some people.
Selfish people see the selfish people rarely ever have to ask for anything because they never give anything out. It's the people that are giving that always end up needing. Most selfish people don't ask people for nothing.
That's a pretty powerful take on that though.
But I'm
Yeah,
not
exactly.
selfish though. You can call my sister. You can ask. I give money and all that, but I still don't ask for shit. I'm a
That's a
giver,
pretty
but
powerful take though.
I
That's
give
exactly.
it back. I agree, but I'm not like that. I would give, but I just won't ask for it.
Mhm. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Dang. So would you call a person who in that position who really never who never even asked or try to ask, would you call them selfish? Like could we call a person selfish because of that? Because
Thank you.
they don't want to ask though?
Not just because of that alone, because they don't want to ask. No,
So if they don't ask and they don't give, we call them selfish.
I give. You can call it. I got motherfuckers that owe me money now.
Now
I'm
I'm
like,
asking that though because when what
I get
Matt
you too.
said, I was like, that's pretty strong. Like I can see that. So it's like now I'm trying to see like how like what would consider them to be the point where you could say, all right, this person is being selfish. Because the way he worded it, it was like if that would be a selfish person. Because they don't see themselves having to ever ask nobody for nothing or be a part of it because they actually are selfish.
I think selfish is based on everything. I think selfish is based on you not sacrificing anything. Every situation you do is based on you coming out on top, or you put yourself first in every single situation. Where it don't necessarily mean you take yourself to get something, but it could be a relationship. It could be everywhere you want to go. It's on your terms. Everything you do is on your terms. You know, every decision that make you feel like you have the headline it. It could be on those aspects as well too. But I do say this because I got a niece. I got a niece, and this is applicable to her. She don't watch this, so she ain't gonna get offended. I always say, I always say the one thing I like about her though, because she's a selfish person. I said the one thing I like about her though is she don't ask nobody for nothing a lot as well too. So it ain't that bad. Cause I hate people that are selfish, but do it like I got a brother that's selfish, but he always asks somebody for something too. It's like how you selfish? You asking you need other people.
Yeah, I can see. So Matt said something. So this for Chef Joe and Dave. Well, it could be for Matt too, though, because I don't know if Matt probably meant this that direct. If there is no sacrifice, would then that be that person then being selfish? I guess that's how he said it. Like if they're not willing to sacrifice, then they will be being selfish. It's like some level of a sacrifice.
Big Dave, I'll let you go first because I got some examples. Go ahead, Big Dave.
All right. So my outlook on that, I've been several times in my life where I didn't hardly have anything to sacrifice, and I was on the needing end. But my pride was so big, and my morals was just so in the way of me asking people for anything. I would go without meals before I asked anybody for anything. Like I hate asking anybody for anything at all. Even if I need the most, I try and figure it out all on my own. If I gotta sell all my belongings, whatever it takes, that's the sacrifice I put towards not having to ask anybody for a damn thing.
But would y'all consider that being selfish though? Like what you just explained, would you consider that being selfish? Because that
No,
don't
I
sound
wouldn't
selfish
consider
to
it.
me. I don't.
No, if you're willing to sacrifice things that you work for and things that you own to be okay in that particular time, that's your sacrifice right there.
So well, okay. So I guess the question would be, if you're not willing to sacrifice for someone else, then would that be considered selfish?
Yeah, that's how I look at it because, like, if you work in a job, right, and let's say example, you got a little extra work, you know, other employees always come over and they may come over and help you or whatever. They may come over and give you assistance because they see you back up, but you would never give nobody else assistance unless there's something in it for you. And let's say example, you carry that same mind state throughout life. You really never do anything that where there's no benefit in it for you because there's some things we all do that it helps your little sister, but there's no help in it for you. It helps your mother, but there's no help in it for you, other than the feeling of that person got ahead. I feel like if you have some people that literally everything they do, there has to be a benefit for them involved in it. That way I would say is selfish because everything is revolved around you getting something. There's nothing you do just for the happiness of others.
Okay. So Chef Joe, what you think about that, man?
But wouldn't it happy if others like I wouldn't call myself selfish because I don't help start businesses and I never received my payment back, you know, my initial investment.
Yeah, I don't think nobody said you were selfish personally though.
I got you, but in general, I'm speaking about me. I gave money.
You trying to find your place in this. Like, I get what you say.
Yeah.
I see what you saying. Like,
but I'm not, like I say, I'm not selfish, but I don't ask for shit. Like, motherfucker come to me for a business idea. I gave $8,000 to this business investment. That was goddamn 2019. It's 2024. I still ain't got my initial investment plus my interest. Am I tripping? I mean, I lost $8,000. Nigga,
so that would be considered a sacrifice, though. But you sacrificed.
I sacrificed, but nigga, I lost $8,000.
Yeah, but so you wouldn't have been selfish though, because you chose to give.
Okay. I don't look at I that still could be considered selfish though, because the investment you were looking to get something out of it. Like if you just lose on the investment, that still could be considered selfish. I talk about doing something where you're not looking to get anything from it. That would be unselfish.
But that's given.
Yeah, but you're giving looking to get back from it. You're investing in it.
No, I understand what you're saying. I don't gave too. And
yeah, that was saying. Yeah, those examples would be better examples though. But if you invest in something, that still could be looked at as selfish because you're still looking to get I'm sure you're not investing looking to lose. You're looking to gain.
It sounds like it falls more under the loan process.
so I got a question. That makes me want to ask this question though. So, is the way most people approach karma actually selfish then? Because a lot of people do good deeds with the guise of good things are going to come their way.
So good.
It's an expectancy thing. Like they only give to people because they expect they might not have to be that person giving back to them, but they do it in the guise of something returning back to them, like a revolving door. So wouldn't karma in a sense be selfish?
I would say karma is selfish if they hold that as like a liability over you, or they hold like as a debt. But there's some people that just live. They study religion and they just live their life on. They're not necessarily looking for something to come back for you. They just believe it. And they don't necessarily like. You have people that hold it against people when they do something like I deserve this back, or they do it and they lead with it. But then you just have some people that subconsciously believe in karma that just give and they don't even. They don't live their life saying it should come back to me or I'm expecting it, but they just live their life based on their religion and they just subconsciously believe in karma.
I believe in karma. I give just to give, but sometimes I can't give all I have because might end up in a situation that I need help.
But I agree with the concept you said, Kevin. If they give in and they looking to get something back every time, that would be selfish.
That's what I'm asking. Because there are a lot of people who only do good deeds because they expect good deeds to come back around.
No, I believe in karma, but I don't do it just for the good deeds to come around. I do it because shit. Hell, I've been hungry before. Like damn.
It's like if you ask me to move, Kevin, you say, hey, you about to move some stuff in your house. If I come over there and I'm not asking for no money, I'm just doing it just to help you move, that would be unselfish. But if every time you need me, I need a benefit from it, everything we do is it has to be a benefit in it, I would look at that as selfish. Because there should be some things with the people that's around you that you would just do just because you want to see a person get ahead. That's a friend or that's a family member. You just want to help them.
Off GP, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was writing it down at the same time. So this concept, right, of when we hear these conversations of people, let's say like kind of with execution towards that man having to take care of everything, and if he's not able to be able to take care of everything, or kind of for like strongly move their circumstance, is that like a way of that woman kind of guilting that man into being something? Like if he just can't do it, and she's like, she got that premise of, well, man got to be able to take care. He got to be able to pay all the bills. He got to be able to do it. Like, isn't that a form of her trying to guilt that man?
My thing is, what was you doing before you met me? You was paying 100% of your bills before you met me. And I come to your life.
But my question is would that be a form or a sense of that woman actually trying to guilt him?
I want to say guilt. It probably just the way she was raised, like her daddy took her mama and her, so that this how I raised. I want to say it's guilt, but nah, I take that back. Maybe it is guilt, because if you're trying to guilt the motherfucker, if a person wasn't raised like that, and you trying to guilt that man, yeah. If the guy wasn't raised like that, like if he's seen his like mama and daddy work together, like paying half the bills and all that shit, and he's used to that, and she's not like her daddy, I can see that as guilt. But that's just
some of the podcasts we don't watch, they used it in this example, and I agree with it every time they use it. Like when the female say she ain't in the mood for sex, so in a relationship she may stop giving sex. Well, if she's not a selfish person, shouldn't she still want to see her man please?
Ooh.
Right? If she had to get a benefit from it every time, then she being selfish with the sex. Because she can use her mouth or something. So every time you have to get that man sex, you have to be in the mood. What about? And I agree with the guys that say that. So what about that being your man and you being appreciative of him holding the house down, so you want to get him off? Like, when does that come into play?
Even if she got a headache.
Yeah, I'm not saying every single time, but she should be. It should bother her that you're going without for a certain amount of time as well too, even if she's in a bad mood.
All right. So now let's take that format, right? Because you said she should be bothered by that. In saying this or agreeing with this concept, wouldn't that be the same thing of us trying to guilt her into now making that man happy?
No, because I would, me personally, if I was with a woman and she was being sick and stuff like that, I wouldn't try to guilt her into doing it, because I don't want you to do it out of guilt anyway. But I would look at it. I would look at her differently now, because I would believe she's a selfish person. I just look at it differently. I'm not gonna give her into doing it. But I'm gonna look at you differently now, because I believe if you value me and you cherish me, everything for you shouldn't have a personal benefit in it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when that woman, sometimes and they use the other, and this was the opposite example they used, and I agree with it. How many times we done got a man that got a second job or done picked up some more hours because her anniversary come up, because something come up. He don't want to work extra. You think he want to work extra, get a second job or get another part-time job or go do extra hustles? But
just to buy your ass something nice for your fucking
but it makes him feel good that this is something that's going to benefit you. So I'm willing to sacrifice this, my time and my effort, and I'm going to be more tired. I'm going to be more exhausted. I'm killing myself slowly every day. I'm working more hours, but it's going to pay off in the end because I get to see you happy, and that's my benefit. So I believe it should be the same way, vice versa. And I believe when females say, I only can give sex when I'm in a perfect mood, you got to cut that female off.
But so if a guy had, like, because you just said that you wouldn't have, kind of hold her to it, but you would look at her a certain way. But if the guy said that, he actually approaches her with the argument of, come on now, I understand you, or like maybe her period or whatever, he's like, but hey man, your mouth still work. Like, wouldn't that be kind of him guilting her though, to still get his pleasure though?
I mean, you got some women that like to give oral, so shit, it wouldn't matter to them.
But see, I'm focusing on the guilt
me
part.
ask you a
Though.
question.
Would that not be him kind of guilting her though?
I
Like,
don't-
baby,
I
now
don't-
you said vows. Now you say you want to see me happy. Now, right now, I'm unhappy because I'm trying to get this off. Like, wouldn't that
But
be
is it-
kind of considered guilting her though?
But is
It's
he
not.
guilty?
It's
No,
not
go-
guilt.
go ahead,
It's just
Dave.
letting her know you got needs.
That's the same. That I was just about to say. It's according to how you're doing it. Are you doing it to guilt her, or are you doing it to bring awareness? Because if you cheat or do anything, people would say you ain't let them know the problem. If I let you know there's a problem, I'm not guilting you just because I let you know there's a problem. Now, if I'm doing it with the intention to get you to do it just because I tell you this, or I'm just making you aware,
But could they be one and the same though? Like, could
they could.
your method of bringing her awareness also register as guilt?
It
Guilting
could
her though?
register as that, but that don't necessarily mean that. Like, let me give you an example of something you said previously, right? You said you don't know if the person you with gonna necessarily give head, but you always gonna get head. Are you guilting that person into giving you head, or are you just making them aware that this is what I'm going to do? You just making them aware.
Both. See, that's why I'm asking that though, because I got both though, like both. Like I want you to be aware, but I also want to guilt you into it too. because you uphold this position. So I kind of want you to feel bad for not doing this. Like that would be kind of both. I gotta be honest.
I don't want her to feel bad because I brought it up. I want her to feel bad because I'm not pleased. I think that's different.
Well, I mean, so regardless of which side she's feeling bad, or we still would be guilting her though.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that because I don't have a problem with guilting the person. Like, I don't have a problem with that. But I don't want you to do. My whole thing is I want you to naturally want to do it. I don't want you to do it because you feel guilty and doing it, because you're not going to do it with the same enthusiasm as you would do it if you really wanted to do it. Like, I don't want lazy. I don't want you doing it because you feel obligated to do it. Okay. I just believe if a person really is unselfish and they really care about you, that's mind-boggling that you because you having an issue that the other person has to suffer as well.
So what do y'all? This is a little different. So what do y'all think about? Okay, like you have them situations where we're talking about guilt now. So when you have those situations, like how are you? What does y'all look on? Say like you like a person. I ain't even gonna say man or woman. If a person did something wrong in the relationship, right? Something that's really trying on the relationship, and when people say you got to make it right, and like you see those stories where like the woman would have like an attitude or something like that, and the man always try to make it up or do certain stuff, like trying to keep reassuring. What do y'all think? Like, what do y'all think about that guilt that comes around that constant reassurance of the security of that relationship? Like, let's say cheating, for example. Let's say if the man cheating, and now the lady says she's not sure she can forgive him, so he has to prove himself over and over and over and over and over again. What are y'all thoughts around that concept of the person having being guilty into having to prove themselves? What are y'all thoughts around that concept, around the guilt aspect of it? Not necessarily.
I always thought that was messed up because I believe the person's setting themselves up to be manipulated now, because that person's gonna do just what you want them to do. It should come naturally, organically. I believe when you sit there, I see people do that when you sit on tables that you had to prove this. They're gonna go above and beyond to prove it now to get back in good grace with you. Or what's gonna happen is they're gonna always feel obligated, and that other person is gonna take advantage of it now. So I think when it don't happen naturally, it's a bad dynamic for either or both of the people. Because now your relationship seems like it's a task now, more so than you genuinely are just peaceful with the person. You genuinely made up with the person. It's not going to start feeling like we're doing certain things just to make this work. I don't like that feeling.
Big Dave, what you think about that, man? What's your thoughts around that concept? With that whole somebody has to constantly keep proving themselves to make that situation better, being guilted into having to constantly do that. What you think about that?
So as far as the forgiveness goes, if they're willing to forgive you, you shouldn't have to prove anything. You should be talked about and understood from that forgiveness point on out. You shouldn't have to bend over backwards because they're already willing to forgive you. So why would you put extra work in to try to make yourself look like some angel when the forgiveness is already achieved?
Like that. Chef Joe, what you think about this? What's your thoughts on that, man? Having to being guilted into constantly trying to prove yourself to be, basically forgiven.
Shit, but they say it was out, my nigga. I ain't got no
I ain't
doubt.
gonna lie. That's like what he said was exactly the thought that was captured. I said too. I don't like that concept, right? Because one, you could actually never get there. Like you could have been spending 3 years trying to make up for that act of, maybe you cheated, right? But then that could have been 3 years of time that you're trying to constantly prove for her to still say, you know what, I just can't do it, and she won out. Now you just wasted 3 years trying to build this so-called level of forgiveness when it's like, bro, you could have she should have just ended it and y'all moved on. Because now that's 3 years you actually wasted trying to regain a position that was really never going to happen in the first place.
That's a fact. I would say this though. It is kind of odd, not saying just natural behaviors that I've seen. It would be kind of odd for a person to cheat on you, y'all have a conversation, and they just move like nothing never happened. I think most people typically, naturally, are going to feel like they have to make it up to you, naturally, without you having to hold that over their head.
But I think, but you know what? I agree. I think that naturalness is guilt too, though. But it's not that person placing on them, but it's a personal guilt.
Yes, I agree. That's what I'm saying. If a person really cares for you, they're going to naturally feel guilty anyway without you having to hold them to that. So it would be odd to me if a person just cheat on you and they say, hey, let's just get over it and just act like nothing never happened, and they ain't moving no different. That would be kind of strange to me because people naturally feel guilt if they do something wrong to somebody that they love.
I agree with that. I think some people would just naturally feel guilty, but I think even. I guess it seems tricky because it's like, how do you know when to stop? That's my thing. Like, how do you know when to stop trying?
I think people. I think in that situation, you just have to kind of like, how should I say it? You have to kind of like relook at the relationship after that point. Yeah. Like you have to have certain milestones because. After you cheat on her, let's say that if she really cared for you and she really believed that you wouldn't cheat on her, she's not, just because y'all made it up, that don't mean she's not going to be affected at there. You're still going to see her mood change. You're going to see her being down a lot. So that's going to make that guy naturally feel guilty. And then you're going to start naturally doing stuff that you probably wasn't doing before, but you're trying to make things right. You have to now kind of monitor, is it fixable or is it not fixable? And that's on every man's timetable based on the patience that you and her have.
Okay. I agree with that. This is the last thing I got before we can get up out of here. When it comes to the idea of confessing to a mistake after significant time has passed, right? So let's say you did a mistake, like you did something. Do you I just want to talk around the concept of how bad y'all think guilt would probably eat up on a person if they said they did something that was considerably wrong, and it don't have to be necessarily a relationship. It could be, it could be coupleship, it could be friendships, it could be, however you want to play it. But they did something a while back, and then nobody ever found out. But then it eat at them, man, this happened a long time ago, but. Do y'all think that person, I guess, should ever really come around to admitting it?
No, me and my mama had that conversation all the time. My mama actually got the best point on this that she has on any topic. Don't take your motherfucking personal guilt and throw it on me now. Because you're going through something. That's exactly what they're doing. They feel guilty about it. So now they're taking the personal guilt that they're dealing with and they say, "Ooh, I feel better," but now you are jacked up over there because you told them this. It's like, if I got an image of you and our relationship is going perfectly, just don't do it again. If nobody knows, it's no problem if nobody knows. Don't bring. Now, if you think the only way you should bring it to me, if you think this is something that you feeling guilt that you could do this again, then I would say, okay. It's just a continuation problem now. That's a different thing. But if you've done this 10 years ago, you haven't done it since, there's no need to bring it up. Because all you're gonna do is destroy my image of you now. Just don't ever do it again. All they doing is taking the guilt off of them and putting it on you now, because now your insecurity about them is going to be there now. They feel way better, but now because most times when they tell you that, you're going to think what else that they're holding it back. They held that for 10 years. What else?
Hell yeah.
You're going to think that's not the worst that they held back. That might just be something they think you can get over with. If I get over that, what else is they're behind it? It's just going to lead to a lot of other stuff now.
What you think about this, Big Dave? That's pretty big. That was pretty deep there. What you think? Should that person confess over significant time done passed? Like, or it don't even have to be significant time. It could be shit. If let's use the example of shit. Nobody know about it. You made the mistake, and if you got the opportunity to get away from scot free, should you? How Matt said, cast that guilt on that other person, or should you just take it to the grave?
I mean, if it's something you've been living with for about 5 or 10 years, and it's gonna be something that hurts your image with a lot of people, as far as what kind of person you are and all that stuff, and just scar everything about you, you might well ride it on out, take it to the grave. Because I mean, you've been dealing with it that long, keep dealing with it.
Learn how to forgive yourself. Don't look for me to forgive you.
Exactly.
Bro, you say, hey, you took the word out of my mouth, Matt. I be like, man, shit, repent, forgive yourself, and let it go. Goddamn it, it's already done.
So if that guilt was eating them up, like really eating that person up, so would y'all say that they were wrong? Like, say it been 5 years, would y'all say they were wrong for I guess casting the guilt on that person? Would y'all say
why would you project your guilt on somebody else? Like, that's crazy to me. Nigga, repent, let that shit go, talk it out, meditate. God damn, do something.
I think the intention could be good, but it's definitely, I don't think there's no benefit in it. Because also too, the one thing you learn too is once you are forgiven for something once, you're also more likely to do it again. So if she tell you something about that and you forgive it, it's going to be easier for that to be done a second time. Because the probability of cheating after the first cheat is higher than it was if the person never cheated with you at all. And the statistics have shown, I've seen a lot of studies that show if you forgive her. So a lot of times, if she see you, she may feel guilty at first, but if you forgive her, you also now have letting her know that cheating is forgivable in this relationship.
Oh, so we talking about relationships now. Okay.
Whether that's a marriage or whatever, you also have let once you forgive her and if she do get over it, you also let her know that that's forgivable now.
I get what you're saying. I'm just not big on cheating, nigga. I would break up with your ass while I cheat. I ain't got time for that shit.
Dave, man, would you say that person wrong for doing that, man? Like let's say this how we can judge it, right? Let's take it off of us of being direct. Say you got a brother, he messed around and cheated on his wife. And he came to you, man. He came to confess to you. And he was like, man, but he ain't told you right when it happened now. When he coming to you, it's already 5 years past. And now he's saying, hey, man, I just want to tell you something, man. It's been eating me up for years, man. But I cheated on such and such 5 years ago, man. And it's eating me up, man. I think I need to tell her. What would be your advice to him?
So as long as it wasn't him cheating with somebody close to me in my life, like my old lady, where it would affect my life completely, probably made me want to break his neck. I would keep that conversation and that topic between me and him. I wouldn't tell another soul. And if that's what it took for him to keep living his life and feel right about things, that's what I would be here for as a brother.
And so what would you advise him, though? What would you advise of him?
I would advise him, hey, you did it one time. If you ain't did it no more, keep it pushing. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't let it happen again if it affects you this bad, like you did it this many years ago and you feel like you need to go talk to me and tell me about it now. Imagine how the next one going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep it at that one and keep on going, man.
Oh, man.
I'm also a person, too, when it comes to the relationship that you have with a female. I'm also a person, too, where there's no conversation off the table with me, no matter what it is. I'm not one of them guys that get insecure by a conversation. So 9 times out of 10, this would be something that would be brought up. So she's telling me this 5-10 years after the fact. That means there's definitely other times. A lot of people don't have deep conversations. I have deep conversations. That means there's probably a lot of other times that you had to lie to me. Because this wouldn't just come up. The type of person I am, it wouldn't just came up after 5-10 years. Because the only time I would be okay with that, Kev, that it would be comfortable for me is I believe marriage is different. I now believe in you're single till you're married. Before I didn't used to believe in that. So like if I'm marrying a female, that question would come up for me. Listen, we getting married. Is there anything that has happened previously to this that I should know about before we get into this that could come up and affect our marriage? Now, if she said at that point 2 years ago, a year ago, and this and that, because I would judge her differently based on the marriage than, because I believe into that single to married now. I would judge her differently based on the marriage than when we were dating. But you need to let me know what happened before this that can actually come into derail this before we actually get into this. That's the only way I think I would be more understanding of it.
So what if y'all in the process of getting married? I mean, you go to ask her that question, and she say no, she don't have anything to confess to, and from that moment, y'all, let's say y'all got married maybe 6 months later, and then she come back to you and say, baby, we need to sit down, we need to have a talk. And then she said it's been eating her up since she told that lie probably 2 years ago before y'all got married. And then she's now telling you about something that, probably egregious that happened. Like, how would you then approach it?
A divorce lawyer.
I don't know, because it would be kind of difficult because it's kind of hard now because you're speaking of an imaginary person, because the emotions definitely going to go into it and how detailed the conversation is going to be.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? So it would be based on the level of trust I have for her. But I felt like I definitely would be upset though, because I would felt like, hey, I laid out this, what type of person I am. I had no judgment when I asked you this beforehand, because now it's going to be like, now I'm going to look at it as, are you planting a seed to, negate something that might come up? Because now if somebody come up and say they did have something with you or something happened with you, now we're playing the game on did it happen before the marriage or after the marriage? Because now it's going to be doubting the time frame now. Why didn't you tell me that before that? If this something happened recently and now you're trying to put it off as it happened right before the marriage or something?
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
that's what's going to look. That's what's going to look like now.
That happens, yeah. That some current came up and triggered it, and she passing it off like it was something that far and distant in the past.
Yep.
But it actually really was something that was actually quite good.
I've seen that happen a lot of time on these divorce courts and stuff. It might have happened 2-3 months after they got married 2 years ago. But now she's putting on, no, it was the January before that, before we got married. Once we got married, I never did none of this. Because now she's going to play the time frame game. Like I did admit to you, he just got the dates mixed up.
Okay. So Chef Joe, man, let's say if it was you, man, you had a brother, man, same scenario I gave to Big Dave, man. He come to you, how would you advise him, man? It's been bothering him for the past 5 years, man. He fucked around and cheated on his wife. What would you advise him, man?
That's kind of hard because in this situation, like, do I know the person real well too? Like me and you, like you know.
Let's go.
I know a lot of people.
Let's say you know his wife. Very close. How would you approach it? Because really, I guess your time is going to be. It depends. I guess you're making a decision on who all gonna get hurt.
Exactly.
So how would you advise it?
In this instant, I would just tell him to tell the truth. You rather hurt her now. I mean, you already gonna hurt her regardless, because you first of all you cheated. You might as well go ahead and tell her now and let her get all the emotions and all that shit out the way, and then if she forgive you, y'all move forward and don't do it again. But that's kind of hard because. Like that affect my relationship with your old lady and your wife too, because she could feel like, oh, you been knew about this. I be like, nah, I just found out, and I told him to tell you. Shit. So that will affect my relationship with her and you, because you put me in the midst of your controversy.
Yeah. I agree. That's a rough one, man. Like I really, I ain't gonna lie, man. Naturally, if I'm hearing this and he laying this story out, I'm just like, man, because the damage gonna be done
Regardless.
So it's like I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably gonna just be like, man, you better keep on lying. Because it's like it's after 5. Like you talking 5 years. Like we can't save nothing at this point because I think what Matt said is true. Like when you go to tell her, she's gonna be thinking you probably been doing that whatever that happened for the past 5 years.
Recently.
She's not gonna think, oh, it was just that one time. Because now she's gonna be battling so much trust with you. She's gonna be like, how do I know? How do I know it was only one time? So it's like my mentality would have to be like, if you thinking this probably you probably can come out of this unscathed.
Oh, you know.
If you really believe you can come out of this unscathed, go for it. But I don't know. I probably be like, man, you might have to take that one to the grave, bro. Like, especially if it's that much time. Like, bro, you wait 5 years. Like, now, if it was something that happened and he had to tell me, like, yo, man, yeah, man, 6 months ago, man, I did this. Then I'd be different. I'd be like, hey, bro, man, you better tell him because it's so much closer. But when you start letting them years go by, it's like, bro, I don't know, bro. You might just go ahead and ride out that, man. I don't know. I better be honest. I don't know if that sounds fucked up or what, but I have to say, yo, you got to just ride that out, bro. Sorry. I don't know if that's good advice or bad advice. I just ride that out. All right, fellas. That was all I had, man. I mean, yeah, that was all I had. Y'all boys got any final words, man? Anything y'all want to say to the people about guilt? You know, what to stay away from, what to walk into, you know, keep this guilty conscience, relieve the guilty conscience from your spirit. Y'all got anything y'all want to say before we jump off?
Meditate and pray.
At the end of the day, no matter how much guilt people may experience, never lose yourself.
Always I like that.
Yourself. Always be yourself. Don't let it control you. Don't let it evolve you as a person towards it. Always be yourself.
And I was being serious about meditating and pray because that shit will help you focus to align your life to, you know, to let it out. So. Oh
yeah, I mean, that was a good closure. So I ain't really got nothing else to put on top of that, man. You know, once if you do it right, ain't no need to add nothing to it, man. All right, y'all. So, hey, man, that was a good one, man. I like that one, man. That was pretty good. So, until the next time, people, we are out.
Peace.